Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be covering some putting and how I'm preparing my putting ahead of the 2025 season. I think one of the key things you need to focus on with putting is identifying the three key elements that really make putting what it is. You've got your speed control, your start line and your green reading. Today though, I'm going to take you through a little bit of a speed control drill that I like to do to really dial in that speed, especially between 20 feet and in. This is a really good one to do where you don't necessarily think about your speed control in this range, but actually it's really vital that you get this kind of dialed in, because it can help you essentially hole more putts and obviously take out those three putts as well, which inside 20 feet you definitely don't want to be three putting from. So you'll see here I've got basically three stations set up. This is like a typical practice routine for me. We've got the Vizio Phil Kenyon mat here. This is a start line drill that I like to do. I then have over here kind of a little green reading drill, which is my aim point, drop point drill that I like to do there. But then you'll see here with the tee box square and then the tees laddered up away from me there, that's my speed control drill. So you'll see here now, let's say I've got my start line drill here. This is using the mat, trying to putt through the gates there to, this is about an 8-foot putt here to the ghost hole, and then I've got a foot past the hole speed. Over here again we've got my kind of hole out drill. I'm practicing left to right as on this particular putt here, about a 6-foot putt, and that's my aim point tee there, and then my drop point over the little yellow kind of coin. And then we have our speed control drill. This is a 1-foot square. We got 5, 10, 15, 20-foot tee pegs. I'm going to take you through this drill now. So as I said, we've got the speed drill set up. So this is a foot box square. Now I'd recommend starting maybe with a 2-foot box, but a foot box is a really good one to do to really help narrow your focus and be somewhat kind of testing in that way. So basically the idea is we've got 5-foot tee, 10-foot, 15 and 20 feet, and the idea is obviously to basically get the ball to finish within this foot square. Now I'm trying to imagine obviously the hole is basically in the middle of this foot box, but what this really does is, rather than putting to a hole, it actually narrows my focus by picking out a point, let's say within this box, that I'm trying to get the ball to stop on. I can then relate to this onto the course, because when I'm out putting to a hole, I can then be really precise with where I'm trying to get the ball to finish, whether that's a foot past the hole, or let's say half a foot past the hole, or whatever it is on a particular putt that I'm faced with. It really helps me narrow my focus and get my speed control really dialed in. So as I said, we've got 5, 10, 15, 20-foot tee pegs. And really, you can play around with how you do this game, and there's a couple of different ways that I like to do it. First way that I really predominantly do is basically I would do 1 putt from each tee and record, let's say 2 rounds of this, how many I can score out of 8 putts. Or you can do it where you start at 5 foot and then basically you don't move back until you complete or get the ball to finish in the square, and then you're recording how many attempts it takes you to complete a ladder. So what I'll do is I'll run through the kind of 2 rounds, 8 putts in total for you version. So I'm just going to hit 1 putt from each tee peg and see what score I get. And then you can try this yourself and let me know in the comments below what score you get versus me. So one thing I'll also add is try and find maybe a flattish putt to do this on. Again, you can play around with, if you want to take it another step further, you can play around with having like a slight downhill putt and then a slight uphill putt to do this on. And then you can really dial in, let's say where your tendencies or your weaknesses are or your strengths are versus an uphill versus downhill kind of putt. So let's get this one underway. So we've got 5 foot to start with. Wow, hit it a bit too hard there obviously. That one's got away from me. Onto the 10 foot now. Again, slightly long there. Okay, greens are a bit quicker than I'm. Just about sneaks in the 15 footer, so we're off the mark. We've got 1 point. Okay, so we've got 1 out of 4 there on the first round. Not particularly great to start with, but again, not disastrous, so something just to work on there. Right, okay, we're on to round 2 then of our speed control game. Got 1 out of 4 in my first round. I need to really dial this in now and try and get 4 out of 4 here. So back to the 5 footer. Really got to feel that speed control. Okay, nice, perfect. That is dead in the centre. Okay, on to 10 feet. We've scored 2 out of 5. Just missed it right. Okay, we're on to the 15 foot now. Only scored 2 out of 6 on this game, which yeah isn't great, but it's okay. We can work on that. That's just snuck in, I think. So the final putt, 20 feet. We've got 3 out of 7 in. Really could do with getting this one in. Short and low. Okay, so there we have it. I scored 3 out of 8 on that test, which actually just shows how tricky it can be if you're not quite on it with your speed. So they weren't all bad putts really, but you know, the point is that if we're being really precise and detailed in this, then as we get onto the golf course, it'll kind of make it easier in the sense that we are, as I say, being more focused and detailed in our speed control. Give this one a go. Let me know many more games and drills like this at Ryan Harmer Golf in the Academy. The RHG members get access to the full videos that I filmed for each area of the game. So if you want to check that out, head to my website. I'm going to link in the description below. And let me know in the comments what you'd like to see me cover next. Obviously, the weather's drying out a bit more, courses are drying out, so I'm going to get out on the golf course, I think, and I'll see you there.